rows here, and we're going to sew these together first using the chain piecing method. Then we're going to add this row on to here, and this row, and this row, and this row, and this row. So our first row is going to stay the same. We're going to take our second row and flip it over, right sides together. As we sew, we're going to sew this one first, then we're going to chain piece and sew this one, then this one, then this one, then this one, then this one. So we're going to stack these up on top of each other. Sticky notes. I'm going to put a number 1. That way I know this is the direction and this is the top. So now we're going to go over to the sewing machine. If you are not able to leave this laying out, you can take them and you can stack them up. Label them 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then, when you're able to, you can take that to the sewing machine and we're just going to add to it, and I will show you that. Some new sticky notes, those don't stick very well. Alright, I'm just going to stack them up. So, let's go put this together. Okay, so we're at the machine. You've got your stack here. I've got them laid out. Make sure you have a full bobbin and make sure you have a new needle. Now, I'm going to teach you chain piecing. That's how we're going to put this together. We're going to take the top one, which is folded over from row 2, and it's automatically right sides together. We're going to line them up, and we're going to sew using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. All right, so here we go. If you have to stop and kind of line everything back up, then stop and line everything back up. Okay, I'm leaving this on. If you'll notice, I did not back tack at the top. Back tacking is when you start sewing and then you sew backwards in reverse, and it secures your threads right there. That's because when we add on our border, those seams are going to overlap, so we don't have to necessarily back tack. You can if you want to. So I'm leaving this one here. I'm not raising my presser foot. I'm picking up the next two. They're right sides together. Make sure they're lined up. Now, I have sewn off of the first one about 3 stitches. It does not have to be 3, it doesn't have to be 4. Just sew off of it, and then we're just gonna pick this one back up. Okay, and we're going to just keep going. We chain piece because number one, it saves the amount of thread that you use. Now I'm gonna raise my presser foot up, put that right underneath, and then we're just gonna stitch. Making a little pile, and what's gonna happen is it's going to be just like little flags. But chain piecing is one thing that you will use a lot when you're quilting. Not only does it save thread, it saves time too. Okay, now that I'm through with my 1 and 2 section, then I actually stopped my thread, cut it, and now we're going to walk it all the way off. Let me cut my bobbin thread. We're going to take our stack number 3 and we're going to open, and then we're going to take our first one, right sides together, and we're going to chain piece. After we get this one through the machine, we're going to scoot on down. We're gonna open. You can finger press if you choose at this time. The next one, and so on and so forth. So, we're gonna put these in our lap. Get everything lined up. Here is our second one. We're going to lay it.
So that one you flip it over when you put it?
Yes.
Okay, so when it tries it up on the table, you flip it over onto the other one?
Yes.
Okay. And then you unfold them and they'll be yours. Okay.
Yes. Okay. Don't know if y'all caught that or not, but what she was saying is they're right side up here, and as we place them, we put right sides together, and then when we unfold it, they'll be going in the right direction. we have our 3 rows laid out so far. Rows, columns. So now we're going to do the exact same thing using stack number 4. We're going to scoot it over. We're going to start back up here. Alright, so this is stack number 4. Right sides together. Put all this in your lap. Guys, shove it down in there. put together. Now we have to sew this to this. The fun part about chain piecing is it keeps them together. Now, we're going to finger press using your finger. This row, we're going to finger press to the right. This row, we're going to finger press to the left because we're going to nest our seams. I'll show you that in a minute. So we're going to finger press, take your seam, make sure it's laying flat, finger press. You might hear some people say, press to the dark side. But all we're doing is laying it, making our seam point to the right, rolling it over and pressing so that all of your seams are going to the left. I'm sorry, to the right. To the right, to the right, to the right, to the right. Now this row is going to go to the left. So we're going to lay this, finger press, lay this one, and finger press. A lot of times you can just kind of pick up the one underneath it, just kind of make it go in whatever direction you want it to go. So this was to the right, this was to the left, this one's going to be to the right. We're going to take this top one and we're going to flip it over. Now if you'll notice, line up your seams. One's going to be going to the right, one's going to be going to the left.
So you just take them and like put them and like smush them together like a pancake kind of thing.
Well, you want like this line to meet up with this line.
Yeah.
But one seam is going in one direction and the other one is going in the other. Because as it goes through the feed dogs, it's gonna keep them butted up together.
Oh, okay.
And you're gonna find where sometimes your seams don't wanna go the way you want them to go. If that's the case, you can take it over to the ironing board and you can iron them. Is if you're not happy with your points, take it out, do it again. That's why we have a seam ripper. A seam ripper is your friend. But if you're happy with it, it's all that matters. Okay. Now, I'm not going to pin this whole thing yet. I'm going to do it row by row. So we're going to take this over to this side. We're still using the same 1/4 inch seam, pin down.
We're gonna sew until we get almost to our pin. Now you're going to, don't sew over your pins. Some people do. I don't sew over mine because I don't want them to break and then it shoot backwards into my eye. When we nest our seams, it also helps to reduce all of the bulkiness in the fabric. So like right here, I have my back side trying to go the other way. So I'm gonna flip it back under.
How can you tell when you have it going the other way? Can you feel it?
Well, I looked up underneath there, and a lot of times your underside's gonna want to go the opposite way, but just because of the feed dogs in there. So now that I've got it going back the correct way, this one's doing the same thing. Take my pin out. We've got the top 2 rows stitched, and we're just gonna work our way down 1 row at a time. Now, we're gonna stitch this next row. So now we have the top 3 rows. Now I'm going to flip it around so I can have the solid piece on the bottom. If you want to continue doing it the other way, that is not a problem. Okay, so this is our last one. And we're done. Yay! All right, everybody, we've got your top made. We've got everything pieced together. Now we're going to give it a really good pressing before we sandwich it and put it together. I like to start on the back, making sure my seams are going in the right direction. We're gonna flip this over, and now we're gonna press the top. And there you have it, a nice, crisp, ready to sandwich quilt top.